pain that's related to the success of any change work.
But having said that, in one of the interviews that I saw that you gave, you mentioned that a man should create a seduction persona in
Yes.
which he identifies his best qualities, identifies the qualities that can best connect with a woman. But if you have come to a place where you feel like you can be completely honest about who you are, explain to me then the need for a persona.
The persona is a tool used to get you to that place.
Okay.
And when you reach that point where you are comfortable being who you are, you have embedded the elements that you've included into your seduction persona are now a part of you.
Okay. Okay. But this is more than just fake it till you make it, right?
Oh, I don't believe in fake it till you make it.
Okay.
I think that's one of the worst. I think that's one of the worst attitudes and techniques out there, personally.
Okay.
I'll explain to you the difference here. Okay, fake it till you make it means that you will say something that you actually don't believe in, in order to get what you want, or you'll take credit for something you didn't do. That's fake it till you make it. I look at that and say, you know what? Anybody can lie. You don't need to study self-improvement. You don't need to study seduction if you're going to go out there and lie. What's the point? Just go out, be a liar, and just go about your life. You're going to end up destroying anything you earn anyway. In developing a seduction persona, what I would do is that I would write down a list of behaviors. Frank exhibits these behaviors. Well, now what would Brother Kermit do? Or what is something that I would like to learn to do or learn to be able to do? Because my seduction persona was called Brother Kermit. I started as Frank. So a good example. Well, let's see. At about midnight or 12:30, every time I'm out at a social event, whether it be a bar, a club, a friend's house, or whatever, I'd start to feel, I should say Frank feels anxiety and feels panic attack. So what would Frank normally do? He would tuck himself away in a hidden corner, grab a book, try to lose himself, try to escape, and just try to wait out the panic attack and not let it bother him. Okay, well, what would Brother Kermit do in that instance? Well, Brother Kermit would grab a bottle of homemade wine that he had prepared ahead of time, go with a bunch of Dixie cups, and go around people asking them if they would like to try or sample a taste of homemade wine. This was a behavior I came up with, which is, in my mind, thinking, okay, this is a way for me to help people. This is a way for me to approach people without having to feel too much anxiety. I'm offering them some wine. They don't like it. That's okay. It was a great stepping stone. It was a great initial tactic just to pull myself out of that funk. So it became a behavior that I associated with Brother Kermit that I was going to try. There's nothing to fake. I'm still feeling the anxiety. I'm still feeling the panic. It's just that instead of going into a room and reading a book, I'm actually trying to do something more social. Eventually, the panic attacks lessened. And the idea of, okay, well, at a certain hour, I'm going to do this, and I became known in my social circles for doing this, became part of who I was, because it was just a repeated behavior, which eventually got a result that I liked, so I just incorporated it into who I was. That's the difference between building a seduction persona and changing, and then, the old faking it till you make it.
Where did you get your inspiration for that? I would guess that if one is starting out, that they think back to, I don't know, say movie characters or characters in novels or, that sort of thing. I mean, would you recommend someone get their inspiration from anywhere to create a persona?
No, not just anywhere. You have to find characters that you yourself have certain admiration or an affection for. In my case, I chose Kermit the Frog. I've always been a fan of Kermit the Frog. Growing up, I wanted to grow up to be Kermit the Frog. He worked in the entertainment industry. He could sing. He could dance. He had the love of a woman. He ran and was the leader of this group of misfit, artists who all generally were good people who, were a little off. And I liked those qualities about him. When I would be inspired by other characters, if you're going to be inspired by a character who, let's say a fictional character who's actually evil, you have to actually be very careful with that, because what an evil character would do might exhibit behaviors that you yourself don't agree with. And a lot of guys who are trying to be tough out there will create personas of characters who are really evil or tough. But the fact is, these are still nice guys who are in conflict with the very things that their seduction personas are raging against.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I already know, just by talking to a guy, if I find out his seduction persona represents something that he himself is completely morally against, I already know that, 4 years down the road, he still won't have a girlfriend.
Right. Right. Can you also elaborate on those qualities that one needs to incorporate in their persona to connect with women?
I think the first thing a person needs to do is to write down what behaviors they already exhibit and find out which ones have worked to turn women off. And this is an incredibly honest process, not a very easy one. So usually doing the opposite of whatever that behavior was. If you're talking to me about what I think women find attractive, that's a different question which I can answer.
Again, something that I heard you say repeatedly in your interviews was about the importance of being able to emotionally connect with a woman and to